If I am really to share my story, they go tell me, boy, that can't be true. They don't know about my road to glory. They don't know the things that I've been through. When you watch my smile, don't think I don't know pain. And the sun will shine, but sometimes it will rain. Walk through the valley of the shadow of death and I go brave. And the whole way through I give my thanks and praise. And that's why blessings and blessings are falling on me.
Blessings, blessings, blessings.
Blessings and blessings are falling on me.
Blessings, blessings, blessings.
Blessings and blessings are falling on me.
Blessings.
Blessings and blessings are falling on me.
Blessings are falling on me.
From a rise I'm morning give thanks for my 2 foot and my 2 hands, for the birds that sing in the trees, for the food we reap from the land, and eyes behold the beauty. I'm a beautiful twin island. Big O good and love Trinidad, Jamaica, Grenada, the whole Caribbean. Say me I keep me heart clean even when the world gets so cool and mean. Through the rise and the falls, I'm a faith stand tall and strong, nah lean. Me never ever lose hope even when me had to cope, keep a smile on me. And me have to live happy and free. Big up to the Almighty. Blessings and blessings are falling on me.
Blessings, blessings, blessings.
Blessings and blessings are falling on me.
Blessings, blessings, blessings.
Blessings and blessings are falling on me. Blessings and blessings are falling on me.
Blessings are falling on me.
From a rise I'm morning give thanks for my 2 foot and my 2 hands, for the birds that sing in the trees, for the food we reap from the land, and eyes behold the beauty. I'm a beautiful twin island. Big O good and love Trinidad, Jamaica, Grenada, the whole Caribbean.
Check, check. Check, check. 1, 2, 1, 2. There is a catch. Check 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Check, check. Come on this side and then boy, see what they do.
Yes, Sam. I was just happened this man and he used to spend money on some.
Yeah?
Have you called again?
Check 1, 2. Check,
You
check.
always sending them things to mommy.
Check, check.
Always
1,
nice
2,
to see.
2, 2, 2. Okay, 2 of them. This is the next one. Check 1, 2. Alright. Turn them off, eh?
I found you.
Yeah, can
they
you
might
hear
want
me?
to check this shot too.
At this stage, they can't check.
Morning, good morning. This is Tobago Updates morning show. It's Tuesday, the 2nd of November, 2021, and we are happy to be here with you this morning, coming to you from the Port Mall in Scarborough, Tobago. I am Julian Skeet.
And I am Rhea Richardson George, and the viewers, this is the day that the Lord has made, and we will rejoice and be glad in it.
Giving thanks always.
Always in every way. Well, Julian, you know, for our viewers this morning, we are coming to you live, as Julian said, from the Port Mall, 3rd floor, Lower Scarborough, Tobago. So, Tobago, good morning. Trinidad, the Caribbean, those of you viewing us online, a special good morning going out to you. I want to take a quick opportunity, Julian, to send out a good morning to my uncle Ray Richardson, who lives up at the Fort Side, all right, Dove Street, Upper Scarborough. I want to say good morning to you, Uncle Ray. I know he's viewing the program. Yesterday morning he was locked on. I forgot the good morning. Good morning to you, Uncle Ray. Good morning to you, Auntie Liz. Trust that you're having a really great day. And to my uncles in Trinidad, Carly Richardson, Neil Richardson, and their families, good morning to you. All right?
Yes, and you know, we have to continue to send that energy and love. And this morning we have some birthday shout-outs. Belated birthday greetings to Kim Clark and Maria Marfan. They would have celebrated yesterday, the first. And we also sending out this morning birthday greetings to Khalifa McDougall, Latoya Frank, and as well as Kaisha Allen George and Judy Rajman. Good morning to you this morning and happy birthday. We trust that you have an enjoyable day. Continue to tune in to Tobago Updates morning show. Rhea, the love and support, we just have to continue to give thanks and to send our appreciation and our love. And you know, I must go to head across to the live. But just before we go across to the live itself, what's happening in the Tobago space, Rhea?
Well, within the Trinidad and Tobago space, 2 students test positive for COVID-19, and this is at Irie High School. We have not heard anything, and you know, they say fingers crossed. We believe in God here that our students are going to be safe throughout the Tobago space as they continue the face-to-face school. So 2 students test positive at Irie, and customers yesterday, as you know, there are a lot of items that are now VAT-free at supermarkets. But a lot of customers are a little bit skeptical because they are saying, or claiming rather, that prices have been jacked up. Prices have been jacked up with no VAT on items. So they want to believe that it's a sort of scam on the parts of the supermarket. So, you know, just putting that out there. We're not sure yet.
And it's always a very interesting position because I have heard that the minister Paula Gopi-Schoon was due to visit supermarkets, you know, and while I commend these efforts, I asked what's the real purpose of a visit when you're announcing via the media in advance that you're going to visit supermarkets in a particular area. If you want to really get a sense of what's happening, then just visit and then do the publicity afterwards.
Thank you.
And more than that, when you visit, give us a sense of calling out where the situation is and ensuring that they comply. And you know, we've got to do some checks and see, because I believe there should be an opportunity where people can call and report where they feel that there are circumstances where supermarkets continue to now include the VAT and call it their new price. Well, so it used to be the price plus VAT, but suddenly now the high price is the price without VAT.
Without VAT. So, you know, we're keeping our eyes peeled. But you've got some interesting news to share with us, Caribbean-wise.
Yes, we would have also had yesterday impressive presentation by Mia Mottley, Prime Minister of Barbados. I mean, when I heard Mia Mottley speak, an excellent representation and raising those concerns from a Caribbean perspective. I am certain the world paused and listened yesterday. You know, even within her speech, giving us a general reminder that leaders should not fail the people that have elected them and the people that have vested that confidence in them. You know, I'm using my interpretation, but that was the line along which she made a particular statement, and that's so important because sometimes leaders aspire to office, and I'm particularly referencing it now because of the fact that, you know, we are going into our December 6th elections.
That's right.
And this is our note for this morning as we look to wrap up this first segment. Leaders ought not to fail the persons who have put you there. Understand that that's part of your critical responsibility.
Now, Julian, I can say nothing after that, except to remind you of our sponsors this morning: Courts, the Port Mall, Caroline Birchwood James and House of Norma, and Hair Sanctuary. And you can view us via M&E TV at Flow, Digicel, Amplier, Airlink, Blink, and Trico. And how can persons advertise with us, Julian?
All right, so persons, you can continue to advertise with us via sales@tobagoupdates.com, sales@tobagoupdates.com. You can also contact us via 284-6597. We go to a break. We'll be right back.
Whoa! It's the Courts Black Friday sale. With the best-selling brands, best deals, and best offers all month long, you don't want to miss your chance to save on wow deals. Save on smart TVs, major appliances, furniture, bedroom and dining, with lots more to choose from. Shop today with Courts Ready Finance and pay nothing for 90 days. Don't miss this Black Friday sales event. Only at Courts, bringing value home.
Morning, good morning, put a smile on your
It's a different type of thing down there. And we party till we drop down there. With a lot of pretty girls down there. Down in Tobago.
Good morning, it's 7:07 a.m. Welcome back to Tobago Updates morning show. And in this segment, we are chatting with the man himself. Some know him in the various aspects of the tourism sector. Some know him in the culture, in the context of culture and the art forms. Some even know him in relation to the copyright by virtue of his areas of responsibility and the extensive level of experience. This morning, we welcome on set Mr. John Arnold, CEO of Tobago Festivals Commission. Good morning, Mr. Arnold. How are you?
Good morning, sir. Now it's a joy to be here, and it's exciting to be on your set, and it's exciting to be here on Tobago Updates.
All right.
I'm good.
Right. So, Mr. Arnold, this morning we are discussing in terms of reigniting our culture after the lockdown. All right. But you know, our viewers won't forgive me. I am certain by now you have heard of your name being involved in some bit of a contentious issue. Do you have any comments on the matter, or as the person who came in, generally you would not have known the circumstances?
No comments.
All right. No
I
comments.
have absolutely no comment on that.
All right, then. Good.
You know, I mean, except of course, where ignorance is bliss. It's kind of foolish to be wise, you know.
All right then. So we're continuing this morning and we're looking specifically at reigniting our culture after the lockdown. The first thing I want you to give us a sense of is the general work and scope of the Tobago Festivals Commission, particularly based on what we would have considered and many in the industry would have said the hardest hit would have been those within that cultural realm, the performing arts, the entertainment industry. How has that time period been, particularly for the Tobago Festivals Commission?
Well, first, I think it's important that we talk in general about the world, the globe, and then we kind of bring it back inside. The Confederation, the International Confederation of the Society of Authors and Composers, the last thing about 2020 is that we had something like a 9.9% drop in royalties and revenue for not just music, but for drama, for theatrical arts, literary works across the globe. And that resulted in losses beyond $1 billion US. So we know that that has been a major factor, but I think we have seen the resilience, right? We have seen a kind of culturally focused kind of resilience to deal with that. And you know, kudos must go out to the private sector, the government, even some people in the creative sector and so on, in terms of rising above that. Now, I think in context of the Festivals Commission, there's no doubt that what we did was to find the avenues to, again, facilitate activities, but certainly adhering to the COVID measures. And I think we've been able to do that in a significant way by using technology and also still staying in touch with the stakeholders out there. So I think we've done a pretty fair job at that. Of course, you know, as our conversation goes, we'll talk a little more about some of the things that I've seen nationally and locally right here in Tobago.
So one of the areas I would like to zone into, you know, being the most recent, would have been the Blue Food Festival.
Right.
Tell us a little bit about what is the assessment of the Tobago Festivals Commission. I mean, I would have been a part. I went up to the north side. I had a very excellent experience. In fact, most of the villagers, and I came back here on the show on the Monday morning, indicating and highlighting the fact that what was good about it is a lot of the individuals who would have been providing food, a lot of the suppliers, and so they indicated that this took them right back to what was that traditional form of the Blue Food Festival, and they were particularly pleased with it. So I want you to give us, what's the assessment in terms of coming from the perspective of the Tobago Festivals Commission?
Yeah, well, I mean, one of the things we did, Julian, was to really frame the fact that we were thinking here of how we're going to do a hybrid kind of situation. So we had several things online, and the only thing that we had that engaged the public was this curbside pickup concept. Now, the curbside pickup, we had to now work closely with the police, and we had to also work with the health, all right, and kudos to those two departments. And so we took measures, for example, even me, I had to do an antigen test 2 days before, the whole of my staff. And then we had the cooks, the vendors, they also had to do that. Now, there were some cooks who had reservations both about the vaccine and also the test. So some of them were not able to engage. So actually we moved from the original 27 vendors. We came right down to 12, right, because of those. But it still worked out pretty good. And yes, you have a point that that old concept of people coming in, we still had some people breaching the rules and so on, because we had strict rules about how the thing was to be conducted. But I think the feedback has been great from them, but certainly if you go back to the tourism model, where you're having a lot of these people to come to Tobago, certainly that can't work. You see the street size, the roads are very narrow, parking is an issue, you know. So we will have to obviously see it as a major festival, but it was beautiful this year. And I think when we look at the engagement, one of the key things I keep saying this year, even with the heritage, is that we are reaching newer audiences. That is big with using the online platforms. And I think what it does, it positions us for the future. So much so that I think we're going to have all kinds of different publics very interested in this unique culinary festival, even the heritage too. And when we open up fully over the next, whether it's next year or 2023, you will see a lot more people coming here. And I think both act as really good tourist tempters.
So how do we, because one of the realities is we're not just going to suddenly get back to large festivals. How do you see, in terms of, in terms of future prospects, the coming together of the idea of what we were forced to utilize this year in terms of going back to that roadside element, and or the combination of the gathering in the main stage in Bloody Bay on the field area? How do you see it working in going forward as we begin to get some ease in years to come?
I mean, you recall that, you remember when Blue Food started, this is very important. Blue Food was in the village of Lansme, right? And over the years, as the festival grew, what you found was that we had to now incorporate other villages. Bloody Bay came in first, and then we had Palliative Bay. And then it's funny how they did a kind of power sharing model, where more people must come from Lansome in terms of the cooks. The second largest would be Bloody Bay, and the third largest would be Palliative Bay. So that power sharing thing even went as far as even the bar, right? Rotating the bar every year at different village. So the model in terms of a tourism event, all right? So it moved from a homegrown event, and it moved now to a tourism event that also plays the role of dealing with the indigenous part. So in having that kind of model where the villagers themselves benefit, the island as a whole benefit, because we have all the spin-offs, accommodation, transport, but when you think about that, we will now have to see how and if we should find a way of merging those two. My own predictions, my own feeling is that the model that we had before, we will have to now look at that as the template that we use.
All right. And I don't know if it is something by way of the training or information. I walked a stall to buy lunch. The cooks and so on, those serving, reminded me that this is where the things start.
Yeah.
I went for candy by another stall in terms of to enjoy the sweets and so on. Good to have you. These where the things start, and land for me.
Yeah.
I walk and I see Assemblyman Farley Augustine on the roadside preaching and talking with colleagues there, reminding them about the fact that this is where the thing would have started. And that for me sent a good signal, because it says that there's a level of pride exuding and coming out from the residents of the north side in terms of this is something that they're genuinely a part of. Now, one of the follow-up things I want to get your input on, we would have had the questions being raised about this year proving to be more cost-effective than what might have been major cost involved with infrastructure and so on that we are required to set up and that kind of thing. What are your thoughts with regards to the cost-benefit analysis?
Yeah, the cost for doing these virtual platforms, of course, it makes a world of difference. Even moving forward now, I know in other iterations that I am, when you look at the cost, it's basically more the technical thing, the graphic design, the videography and so on, and the people doing scripting and so on. So you do have a smaller cost because there's no setup, there's no chairs and tables and all that. So infrastructurally, you do have a major cost that comes down. And also you have the advantage of using the social media to really kind of oomph up your event and so on. But I'm saying in looking at the issue of moving beyond the lockdown, I think one of the things is that you will notice that we will have to consider hybrid as the way we have to move forward. There's no getting away. So even though we go back physical and you're going to have all these rules, I mean, I was in New York, just for an example, I was in New York 2 weeks ago, and I went to a basketball game, NBA. And it's funny, to enter, you have to produce your vaccination certificate, you have to have your ID. And I mean, the route is you go through that tier, and then you have to go through another tier, which is security and sanitization and so on. So that becomes, maybe moving forward, that would become part of the thing of having events, but it doesn't stop the streaming element.
But is that something, well, very, very good to know. As we look at how we transition into this new space for culture and the art form, what kind of support can we potentially look forward to? Because ultimately the Tobago Festival Commissions, as I understand it, creates that environment where it is our festivals can thrive.
Right.
They can seek to promote Tobago, they can really, you know, and by extension that tourism element.
Yeah.
In that reigniting our culture and that transitioning, how do we support those elements or those stakeholders that become a critical part of ensuring the success of our culture here in Tobago?
Well, I mean, that's a broader, I know we don't have all the time, but I think I could break that down into about three or four things. One, I think what dictates whatever you do is policy, right? And policy I mean, there are some occupiers in the political space that are definitely supporting that. You know, we had different things in terms of the road to recovery. One of the biggest things, of course, Dr. Keaton has made a point, implementation deficit disorder. The fact that we have plans, but are they implemented? So that's a real big thing that we have to look at. How do we implement these great plans that we have? So policy. Second one is the creatives. They have to also show some responsibility. A lot of creatives now are educating themselves. They're learning more about technology. They're learning more about intellectual property. What are their rights? They stop being lazy in their zone. You know what I mean? So the education component becomes very, very important. And the last part, and I think in our short space of time, that I think becomes important, apart from the policy and the education, is collaboration. There's no way that we can operate in silos anymore. Everybody got to know where the strengths are, and we have to find a way to pull those things together. In my short time, those are going to be the three things that I think are critical to reigniting or moving anything forward.
All right. And naturally, you know, people would want to know, as we look at winding down the interview, what can we look forward to in terms of from the Tobago Festivals Commission upcoming in the next few months as we project and head into 2022?
Yeah. So, I mean, the mandate of Festival Commission is obviously to design, research, design, plan, and coordinate festivals. And of course, in doing that, we evaluate it after. So in doing that, we capture two things. We obviously dealing now with indigenous festivals, and we're also dealing with the tourist tempters. So we have a plethora of festivals that we have to deal with. What is great about this is that we have to support several of the other agencies. We work closely with TTAL, for example, because as a niche, we have to be part of what they are doing to promote Tobago, right? So in moving forward, one of the things that we're doing is how do we improve the festivals? How do we position Tobago in terms of having people being interested in the festivals? And I think we're doing a really good job at that because our views and so on are in the millions. And beyond that, I think we're also looking at one or two new festivals that we can help to kind of spur the market. So those would be some of the things that moving forward, we have a great team. And let me say kudos to all the managers there. And I think that, you know, so far we've been able to really work and coalesce to be a really effective, efficient body.
So we can look forward to even greater things coming.
I think so. I think, yeah, definitely greater things.
All right then. Viewers, we've heard it there from John Arnold, CEO of the Tobago Festivals Commission, just giving us a little snapshot into that after lockdown and reigniting our culture. And of course, I'm sure many of you know John Arnold is the kind of man where you have to segment what you want to discuss and schedule multiple interviews to get into the details of it because of the extent of his knowledge. And so at this point, viewers, we go to the Good Stuff segment. The Good Stuff segment here this morning on Tobago Updates Morning Show. Dr. Joseph hails from Mason Hall, Tobago, and is a proud graduate of St. George's University, Grenada. Doctor of Medicine, magna cum laude, a former student of the Bishop's High School, and they are indeed pleased to congratulate her on this achievement. And here from Tobago Updates Morning Show, we say congratulations to Dr. Vernet Joseph, and of course I must tip in the daughter there of Vern Joseph. If you know someone, folks, or something you would like to feature on The Good Stuff, email us at info@tobagoupdates.com. That's info@tobagoupdates.com, or contact us at 284-6597. This has been The Good Stuff segment, here coming to you live on Tobago Updates Morning Show. We'll be right back, viewers. Stay tuned and continue to share the live. Share the live.
Morning, morning, good morning, morning. Put a smile on your
It's a different type of thing down there. And we party till we drop down there. With a lot of pretty girls down there. Down in Tobago.
You can now get whatever you need whenever you need it anywhere in Tobago with Tobago. Your meals, medication, groceries, and shopping all delivered directly to you. No more hassle, no more stress. Get the Tobago app today on Google Play or Apple App Store.
That's TAPPOGO, and let us deliver to you.
Check our website at www.tapogo.app or call the experts at 494-TOGO and 484-4746. Tobago. Relax. We will get it to you. Tobago's at your service.
Morning, morning. Viewers, welcome back to the Tobago Updates Morning Show, and we are really happy to be in your company. We continue to chat, viewers, as this is ComDev Week, Community Development's week of activities. And on the program with us this morning, we are chatting with the Director of the Occupational Safety and Health attached to the division, Marissa Mawani. Marissa is on the program this morning to chat with us on the business continuity in the construction sector. Good morning and welcome to you, Marissa.
Hi, good morning, Rio.
Now, it's good to have you on the program with us. Marissa, let's start a little bit by, talking about occupational health and safety and what it entails in terms of your job, your portfolio.
Okay, as the Director of the Occupational Safety and Health Department, the mandate of the department is to ensure that the THA complies with the Occupational Safety and Health Act. We have officers placed throughout all the divisions of the Assembly who work towards ensuring compliance with the OSH Act. So they would carry out different activities such as accident investigations. They would do risk assessments. Now, in the time of COVID, we specifically do COVID-19 risk assessments. We do training for staff to ensure that they are more aware of the hazards that exist in their work environment and how to work safely in that particular work environment.
Okay, now a little bit later on in the program, we're going to be chatting about a webinar that's coming up. You'll give us some more information on that. But as it pertains to safety and health, in the Caribbean, there is a practice that, in fact, there seems to be no rules, no regulations as it pertains to safety and health on the job site. Let's talk a little bit about that. It seems as though anything goes. How stringent are the measures that should be in place to ensure the safety of workers?
Well, the Occupational Safety and Health Act, Chapter 88, it governs health and safety throughout the island of Trinidad and Tobago. With respect to the employer's obligations towards health and safety, they have a duty of care to ensure that their workplaces or their work sites are safe for their employees, safe to clients that may be coming in, safe to visitors. So they have a legal duty of care to ensure that the well-being and the safety and health of their employees are looked after.
Okay, and that's on the part of the employers. But what about on the part of the employees? Should employees ensure that their work environments are safe? Should they stand up, or should it just be a case of, well, I'm getting a paycheck at the end of the month?
Well, under the Act, employees also have responsibilities as well. So, for example, if you are issued personal protective equipment by your employer, you have a responsibility to ensure that you wear that personal protective equipment. Employees also have the right to refuse to work if it is they believe that the workspace that they are in is providing some sort of imminent danger to them if they come into the workplace. But there's a process to do so under the Act, where you would need to inform your employer. You would need to call in the Occupational Safety and Health Agency to come in to investigate if you do have a right to refuse to work. They would determine, the agency would determine if it is applicable in your instance if you refuse to work because you feared for your health and safety on the job.
Now, you said it's a process, which tells me that it's not an overnight thing.
Well, the process meaning there are steps that you have to follow for it to be recognized as a refusal to work under the Occupational Safety and Health Act.
All right, let's switch gears here and talk a little bit now about the upcoming webinar. Tell us about the webinar.
All right, so we have a webinar carded in the middle of ComDev Week, which is titled Business Continuity in the Construction Sector During a Pandemic. Now, the department came up with this webinar based on the need for it at this point in time, and also based on the theme of the Community Development Week, which is celebrating our resilience. We wanted to ensure that the business community, sorry, not the business community, the construction community are able to be resilient during the pandemic so that they can carry on their jobs despite being in a pandemic. So we want to give them information that would be able to empower them to do so.
Okay, so let's talk about some of the topics slash subtopics that would be
all right, so we would be looking at how COVID-19 is transmitted. It is important for workers to understand how the virus is transmitted, for them to accept some of the precautionary measures that are put in place. So, for example, we are asked to wear masks. Workers may sometimes not want to wear the mask, but if they understand that the virus is transmitted via droplets and the mask can help save your life, they may more likely want to wear the mask if they understand why they need to.
Right.
So we would be looking at how it's transmitted. We want to give them knowledge on how they can protect themselves on the construction site, how it is they can put the necessary control measures in place so that in spite of the pandemic, they can function and carry out their business, so they have business continuity in this pandemic time.
Right.
We also want to give them some information on what is the contractor obligation towards health and safety, so that we empower them with that knowledge so that they know what is required of them as the contractor with respect to health and safety. In that way, we are making them more marketable as a construction contractor, where you may now be able to bid for contracts outside of Tobago because you're more marketable with respect to your health and safety protocols.
Okay, and I like that you said, with respect to the protocols. Let's talk about some of the protocols that are in place to ensure workers' health and safety post-COVID-19.
All right, generally or with respect to construction?
With respect to construction.
All right. In place, it would be the normal health protocols, but it would have to be a little different because of the construction industry. The construction industry is considered a high risk generally, even more so now with COVID-19, because it's a high contact industry where you have a lot of individuals working together.
Right.
So we would want to give them information on how they can properly social distance to carry out the necessary activities on the sites. You may want to stagger working times, so you don't have, say for example, you don't have painters, electrical workers, plumbers all on the site at the same time
Right.
carrying out their tasks. So you could have one coming in today, another coming in tomorrow. You want to ensure you have proper sanitization practices for areas that can be high touch points or general communal areas for construction workers. So proper sanitization practices, the rotation of staff. You may, depending on the size of the site and the different activities, you may be able to put up screens to separate workers in some areas. So those are some of the measures that can be implemented on the sites to help minimize or stop the transmission of the virus between the workers on the site.
Now, it will cost the employers something to be able to put these measures in place.
Yeah.
Do you think that it's going to be a priority? At the end of the day, everyone is looking at dollars and cents. So how do you emphasize the need for employers to put the necessary measures in place?
Well, one, it's their legal responsibility to do so, especially with the public health regulations in place. Also, too, we explain to them if it is your site is shut down because someone tested positive, and all the workers who came to work that day would have to quarantine. So your site would be shut down for, say, at least 14 days.
Right.
So you need to weigh the cost benefit in terms of putting the measures in place, so you lower the risk of having your site shut down because of an outbreak in your area.
In your sector. All right, so Marissa, this webinar is geared towards construction workers.
Yeah.
How tech savvy how tech savvy is the average construction worker to be able to log on to this webinar?
I believe now everybody is tech savvy. What we would have done is get the email addresses of most of the construction contractors in Tobago. We would have emailed them the information for the session coming back. We have had a lot of responses coming back in showing interest. So it would give an indication that a lot of them, all right, they could use their emails. They would just need the email to get the link to open up to the webinar.
But I'm really curious as to why the construction sector, why the focus on the construction sector?
Well, focus was made on the construction sector. Like I said, it is already a high-risk industry, and it is even more high-risk now because it's a high-contact industry where you have several workers, several different activities going on a site at one particular time. So we want to help the construction community in terms of putting the necessary measures in place so that your business isn't shut down and you have some sort of business continuity taking place while the pandemic is still going on.
Okay, and how can persons contact you for more information?
All right, so they can call us on 639-4818, extension 2036, extension 2023 for more information.
For more information. And how can they find you on social media?
We are on Facebook, on the ComDev Facebook page. They can find us there, and our email address is osh@tha.gov.tt.
Okay. Is there a deadline for the webinar, for registration for the webinar?
We would take people up to the day before. So it's on Wednesday, the 10th of November. So up until Tuesday, the 9th, we would register applicants for the session.
And ComDev week runs for the entire week from next week, Monday
to Friday.
Right, and that's from the 8th.
Yes.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for chatting with us this morning, Marissa Bawani, the Director, Occupational Safety and Health. So, viewers, we are going to take a break. When we come back, lots more happening here on the Tobago Updates morning show. Stay tuned. Join us after the break.
Good morning, morning. Good morning, morning. Put a smile on your
It's a different type of thing down there. And we party till we drop down there. With a lot of pretty girls down there. Down in Tobago.
You can now get whatever you need whenever you need it anywhere in Tobago with Tobago. Your meals, medication, groceries, and shopping all delivered directly to you. No more hassle, no more stress. Get the Tobago app today on Google Play or Apple App Store.
That's TAPPOGO, and let us deliver to you.
Check our website at www.tapogo.app or call the experts at 494-TOGO and 484-4746. Tobago. Relax. We will get it to you. Tobago's at your service.
Whoa! It's the Quartz Black Friday sale. With the best-selling brands, best deals, and best offers all month long, you don't want to miss your chance to save on wow deals. Save on smart TVs, major appliances, furniture, bedroom and dining, with lots more to choose from. Shop today with Quartz Ready Finance and pay nothing for 90 days. Don't miss this Black Friday sales event, only at Quartz, bringing value home.
This day in Tobago history. Did you know that on this day, November 2nd in 1985, Her Royal Highness Queen Elizabeth II made a 3.5-hour visit to Tobago? The Queen's trip was to be commemorated by the unveiling of a plaque at the newly refurbished Chamber of the House of Assembly. The plaque was also to memorialize the reopening of the historic chamber, which at the time was under the leadership of the then chairman, A.N.R. Robinson. The Queen was accompanied throughout her visit by the then President of Trinidad and Tobago, Sir Ellis Clarke, whom she knighted in 1960. The monarch had lunch at President's house and had one other engagement, which was a personal high point for the Queen. It was a visit to Fort King George to meet with some of the island's school children. The Queen particularly enjoys mingling and chatting with children, and it was at her request that the more ceremonial children's rally, which was scheduled to be held at Shaw Park, was replaced by the informal gathering against the vista of Scarborough at the fort. The Queen and her contingent left from the fort and headed to Crown Point International Airport, as it was then known, for their return trip to Trinidad. This was the Queen's second trip to Tobago, the first being in 1966 when she overnighted on the royal yacht after a garden party at the President's house. This was This Day in Tobago History. I'm Devon Adana. Back to you.
Good morning, viewers, and welcome back to Tobago Updates Morning Show. It's 7:43 a.m. and we are indeed happy to be here with you. We continue to welcome the love and support. And just to remind you, this morning, our sponsors of the Tobago Updates Morning Show, Courts, Port Mall, Scarborough, Caroline Birchwood James, and Here Sanctuary. And for those of you who are tuned in to us online, we want to remind you as well to please spread the word. You can also connect with us via M&E TV, Flow 111, Digicel Channel 20, Amplier Channel 117, Trico Channel 154, Blink Channel 109, and Airlink Channel 10. Ria, could you just remind us about advertising and those who may be interested in submitting stuff for the good stuff?
That's right. So for those of you who are interested in advertising with us, and we trust that you will be willing and happy to advertise with us, you can contact us on sales@tobagoupdates.com or call or WhatsApp 284-6597. And for the good stuff, you want to send us some information, you can send you can send it to info@tobagoupdates.com, or you can call or WhatsApp the information to 284-6597.
We just want to again continue our thanks and appreciations, particularly to call out, my 30 seconds, Ria. Just to call out a bit. Persons that continue to share their life for us: Tevin Johnson, Marcus Daniel, Jen Baines, Leanne, as well as we have Dave Solomon, Makan Hislop, Ruan Lamumba, AJ Allen. We want to say thank you very much for continuing to share their life, and of course the love and support we appreciate. Afisha McCain, Davina Nelson, Abby Taylor, Teresa Allen. We have as well Nisha Thomas, Caswell Gordon, Simone Charles, Kim Brathwaite, Kizia Campbell, Listra Belfon, Jacqueline Andrews. I think my 30 seconds is up by now.
Allow me to just throw in two there.
Yes.
Dora Lyons, Nadine Nichols. Okay, more than two. Diane Myers. Okay, so good morning going out to all of you who are viewing us via the live. Share the link, share the link, share the link. So Julian, this is about week 3 for us here at the Tobago Updates morning show. And we've got news coming up every other day. We've got news coming up every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. So these are things that we want to allow our viewers to know, to tune in, so they'll be able to tune into the Tobago Updates news from 7:30.
Yes, very much so. Just to remind our viewers, it's on Mondays, Wednesdays, and on Fridays to tune into our news, where we give you all the highlights, things happening here within the Tobago space, as well as giving you a level of focus also on sport, bringing that information to you. And certainly our presenters are no strangers. Patricia Nicholson, very well known at that, and similarly Marcus Daniel.
That's
He's
right.
a social media sensation. So certainly persons known to the landscape. Ria, one of the things that we ought to, have a bit of a conversation about, we have entered into November. The Christmas season is upon us so quickly, and it almost seems like quite naturally under the circumstances that the focus, as is expected, is more on the election before even the fact that we get to Christmas.
Julian, and whenever the elections, because this is not the first time we've had elections placed in the month of December or early January, and the focus is never on Christmas, never on New Year's, no family, it's on votes, it's on campaign, it's on elections. So again, this is what we're going to see.
And you know, from what we've been seeing so far, we really want to particularly remind, you know, those who are seeking office that given the COVID regulations and protocols, we really want to particularly urge them to be responsible with their campaigning. It's like I had to tell one who visited me on an occasion, stay by my gap. You are approaching, coming towards me by my door to have a conversation. That's too close to comfort.
Too close to comfort.
Too close to comfort for the simple fact that I know you are engaging far and wide, quite naturally, in an effort to be able to secure that vote. But you know, you just got to be mindful of the fact as well that there is a level of discomfort. There is a level of discomfort naturally in relation to the period of time at hand. So we just want to remind persons to be responsible with regards to their efforts.
All right, so, and that, I mean, as time goes on, we're going to keep reminding persons, the entire public, to please be mindful, please be careful, please be safe. Well, we're going to take a break at this time, viewers. When we come back, Julian is going to be chatting with our guests. So stay tuned, you don't want to miss this. We'll be back.
Morning, good morning, put a smile on your
It's a different type of thing down there. And we party till we drop down there. With a lot of pretty girls down there. Down in Tobago.
You can now get whatever you need whenever you need it anywhere in Tobago with Tobago. Your meals, medication, groceries, and shopping all delivered directly to you. No more hassle, no more stress. Get the Tobago app today on Google Play or Apple App Store.
That's TAPPOGO, and let us deliver to you.
Check our website at www.tapogo.app or call the experts at 494-TOGO and 484-4746. Tobago. Relax. We will get it to you. Tobago's at your service.
Put a smile on your face. Good morning, good morning. It's 7:50 a.m. and this is Tobago Updates morning show. And we welcome you back to this segment where we are chatting with Xavier Edwards. Some know him as the recording artist. Some know him as the musician. Some just know him as the man that would rock back and chill and we could have a good convo to talk about anything Tobago. Welcome to the show this morning.
Yeah, give thanks. Glad to be here.
All right. So as we start the conversation this morning, we are looking very broadly at what I want to consider blessings for you during a pandemic.
Yeah, true.
And let's start on that note. Give our viewers a little sense as to who is Xavier Edwards.
Well, as Julian would say, artist, but also, you know, like, I spend a lot of time deeply thinking about ways to become a better human, make the place I live on a better place for myself and for my children and for my family and for my friends and everyone. And yeah, just all around actively working to improve.
So we would have seen recently, Xavier, after, I mean, people who probably didn't follow you before didn't know the extent of your involvement within the industry and probably only came to know you, you know, as they saw certain recordings come forward and so on. Tell us about that level of success that you were able to enjoy, especially in recent times.
Well,
Share the story with us.
The pandemic was like, I guess it comes with challenges, but it also created a lot of time and space for one, for me to team build. And in a successful project, a great team is mandatory. So I did some team building. Also didn't have a lot of performances going on, so we spent a lot of time creating the work, making the music, doing the videography, producing it, and bringing up the standard to a point at which we didn't allow it to bog us down, and, you know, to be embraced by so many, you know, it feels good. Credit to the whole team.
Yes, and you know, a lot of people refer naturally to even your involvement in the video with voice.
Oh, yeah,
they know artists. Tell us about that experience, particularly being exposed at that level. You know what I mean, to an artist, and I like to describe voice as someone who is genuinely into helping and promoting persons who are coming out in the industry, knowing where he has come from. Tell us about your experience interacting at that level.
That was awesome. Me and Voice actually met at Youth Awards 2019 in Trinidad. That's the first time we met. And Melvin, who's a part of the video team as well, is part of Voice's team. And, you know, we rap on and off, not all the time, but we used to vibe every now and again. So when you were shooting a video in Tobago, it's only natural that you reach out and connect with those, you know, whose energy you resonate with. And, you know, we have a great vibe, and it was great to connect. Real humble character. A lot of love, and his work, as you say, at least for me, you know, it really expands what I understand soca as and adds something to the industry that I think is invaluable.
All right. As a young person, you know, it's always good to get that connect in terms of what are your words of encouragement? How do you speak to others in an industry like this going through what they have defined as a very challenging time? Yeah. And a lot of folks probably don't even know as well, this is a National Youth Awards winner. Yeah, true that, and the man has been involved at the levels and so humble with it in terms of bringing forward that kind of information. What do you say to young people in similar kinds of circumstances within the industry?
Honestly, I would say that respect where you are on your journey, you know, maintain the faith, build a great team around you to help support. It's not always about money. It's actually a lot of the times about the level of commitment and energy into your craft. And I genuinely believe there's nothing that you could truly feel in your heart and see in your mind that you wouldn't manifest. It's just to be patient.
To be patient with it. Yeah. And I want you to tell our viewers a bit about the new song. Right? That new hit that, you know, and that's the good thing about the Tobago space. When we see outstanding work in our Tobago space, we are enlightened to share and to promote and to make others aware. Hey, I probably never met Xavier in my life, you know. But this is Tobago.
True that.
Tell us about the new song and that the inspiration that would have gone into it. And I know you take a deep breath for that one.
Yeah, that Blessings is truly, I'd say, one of the best pieces of work I've ever put out. In the midst of this pandemic here, with so many people going through challenges, I thought it important to tell a story of in the midst of those things, there's beauty. That was also to a great degree inspired by one of my best friends growing up in childhood. That was Colin Salandi, who transitioned in 2009. He's actually murdered. And, you know, even in the midst of his absence physically here on the planet, I wanted to take that opportunity to honor his memory, to be grateful for all he contributed to my life and you know, his family. And, you know, simultaneously remind people that even though in the greatest of challenges that we face in this experience, which is death, one, it's certain, and two, there's always some level of beauty if we seek and look deep enough that we could find in it.
Right. And tell us about that sense of style. And, you know, our viewers seeing that and they say, oh, God, Xavier's a man, he's wear what he wants. And he's comfortable, connected with his very natural self. Tell us about that sense of style that you bring forward with comfort and ease, not necessarily following any kind of traditional format.
Well, firstly, I think the highest form of fashion is comfort. So once you could feel comfortable in your attire, in your skin, in your hairstyle, in your shoes, that to me is ultimate comfort. I'm currently wearing a fluorescent black shirt here and some jewelry by Mystic Rose. So I also heavily support local designers and artisans. You know, and I represent, if every time I come on any platform where I can have a few eyes on me, I'd love to bring, you know, that light to the elements, at least in the Tobago space, that I respect, that whose work I love, who I want to see win, because we win together.
Because that's the kind of person I know you to be, and I was hoping that you would bring that out, that it's not just about you succeeding, but looking for opportunities where you can also highlight others in various industries, you know what, as entrepreneurs really coming out there. In terms of the video, particularly with the new song, I noticed one of the things that you continue to do, commendable at that, is to highlight elements of the Tobago space. Tell us about some of those choices in pulling together that video and the shoot and the areas chosen.
Well, so I'm from Roxborough, right? That's where I grew up, firstly. Well, actually, let me give major credit to the videographer. That's Mikey. His company's name is Isolate Media. Some of you may know him as Inca. Because even though, you know, sometimes I pick the shots or someone else on the team might pick the shot, his eye is really special. So those shots in Argyle on the hill in Roxborough, and a secret location where we ain't ready to release yet. But you'll see some more details about that spot coming out soon for a greater project. Because Tobago is absolutely beautiful. So, you know, we do our part to shine the light on the entrepreneurs, on the artists, and on the island as well.
Good. So I get a quick commitment when that new project is coming. You'll be coming to Tobago Updates to push it out?
Yeah, for sure.
Excellent. Viewers, so we just got that commitment there, and we have been chatting with Xavier Edwards. Thank you very much for joining us this morning. Xavier, recording artist and musician. Connect with him via social media, folks. Check out on YouTube. I mean, the music is amazing, and it only speaks quite naturally the unique Xavier Edwards, one and only. All right, so once again, viewers, we want to thank you for tuning in to Tobago Updates morning show. We look forward to seeing you tomorrow morning once again. Take care and bye for now.
If I am really to share my story, they go tell me, boy, that can't be true. They don't know about my road to glory. They don't know the things that I've been through. When you watch my smile, don't think I don't know pain. And the sun will shine, but sometimes it will rain. Walk through the valley of the shadow of death, and I go brave. And the whole way through I give my thanks and praise. And that's why blessings and blessings are falling on me.
Blessings, blessings, blessings.
Blessings and blessings are falling on me.
Blessings, blessings, blessings.
Blessings and blessings are falling on me. Blessings and blessings are falling on me.
Blessings are falling on me.
From a rise I'm morning, give thanks for my 2 foot and my 2 hands, for the birds that sing in the trees, for the food we reap from the land, and eyes behold the beauty. I'm a beautiful twin island. Big O good and love Trinidad, Jamaica, Grenada, the whole Caribbean. Say me I keep me heart clean even when the world gets so cool and mean. Through the rise and the falls, I'm a faith stand tall and strong, now lean. Me never ever lose hope, even when me have to cope, keep a smile on me. And me have to live happy and free, big up to the Almighty. Blessings and blessings are falling on me.
Blessings, blessings, blessings.
Blessings and blessings are falling on me.
Blessings, blessings, blessings.
Blessings and blessings are falling on me. Blessings and blessings are falling on me.
Blessings are falling on me.
From a rise I'm morning, give thanks for my 2 foot and my 2 hands, for the birds that sing in the trees, for the food we reap from the land, and eyes behold the beauty. I'm a beautiful twin island. and love Trinidad, Jamaica, Grenada, the whole Caribbean.